Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again for another online Sunday school lesson. As you can see, we're taking it on the road today. Here I am on First Street. We're starting a new series learning about the 10 Commandments. You might think sometimes that the 10 Commandments is just a bunch of rules that God gives us, and sometimes following rules is no fun. But what we're going to learn is that God's commandments for us really show us the best way to go in life. And if we follow his commandments, things go so much better for us. So today we're learning that we put God first. And our First Street sign reminds us of that. God is so amazing and awesome, you guys. He deserves to always have first place in our lives above everything else. So let's see what the Bible has to say about putting God first. In Exodus 20, verses 2 and 3, we find the 10 commandments recorded, and this is the first commandment. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. So today's main idea is that we put God first. So what exactly does it mean to have other gods before God? What does it mean to worship other things? We're going to learn about that today, and we're going to look at a story from back in ancient Athens. There was a dude in the Bible named Paul, and he visited Athens, and when he got there, he discovered that they worshiped a whole lot of other gods. This is what it says in Acts chapter 17. While Paul was waiting for them in Athens, he was greatly distressed to see the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with both Jews and God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace, day by day with those who happened to be there. A group of Epicurean and Stoic philosophers began to debate with him, and some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. So let's imagine that we're in ancient Athens and we're on a journey with Paul to look around the city and see what types of things the people are putting before God. Whoa, check that out. This is the Parthenon. Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it, guys? The Parthenon was a temple built for a goddess named Athena. She was a false god that the people in Athens worshipped. Oh, look. There's a picture of Athena. That's a statue or an idol that people would have brought gifts to and sacrifices, and they would have worshipped at this piece of stone. That's kind of weird, isn't it? This is something you can find in ancient Athens that Paul was seeing that the people really worshipped back then. Wow, check that out, guys. That's the temple of Zeus. That's pretty cool. Zeus was another false god that the people worshipped. And they built this temple for him back in ancient Athens. Wow, look at all those statues. This is the Erechtherion. Try to say that 10 times fast. This is another temple that was built for another god named Poseidon. There he is. The point is, you guys, all of these gods were false gods, and yet the people of Athens were actually worshiping them. They would bring them gifts, they would bow down, they would pray to them, they would give them sacrifices. And Paul said, this cannot be because there is one true God. And Paul was intrigued when he saw this statue. You guys see what this says? This says an altar to an unknown God. Aha. So Paul saw the way that he could talk to the people of Athens about Jesus Christ when he saw this altar. Paul stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and he said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are not ignorant of the very thing you worship, and that is what I am going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it, the Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples built by human hands." So Paul's saying he doesn't live in that house that you built for Zeus or Poseidon or Athena. That's not where the real God lives. And he said this, he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything from us, right, guys? Rather, he himself gives everything life and breath and everything else. Paul could tell that the people of Athens wanted to worship God, but they just didn't know who he was. And so he was there to proclaim the one true God to them. Some historians think that the people of Athens worshiped over 30,000 gods. That's a whole lot of gods, you guys, and they are not real. There is only one true God, and we put him first in our lives. So what do you guys think Paul would think if he came to our culture and walked around today? What would he notice that we give a lot of our time and attention to? So you don't have to bow down to something to be worshiping it, and you don't have to bring it a gift. You don't have to sing to it. You don't have to tell it how wonderful it is in that sort of a way. But there are a lot of other things in our culture that we might have as idols or worship. And those are the things that we sometimes spend more time on, that we put first instead of putting God first. So let's think about that. What do you think in our culture people spend a lot of time on? If I had you in the classroom, I'd let you shout out some answers. But here's some things that I thought of. We spend a lot of time on our phones. Yep. And our TVs and our video games, our sports, celebrities, YouTube. Oh my goodness. All of these are things that we spend a lot of time on. And I want you to think in your mind for a minute right now. Do I spend more time thinking about God and worshiping him or praying or thinking how wonderful he is? Do I spend more time doing that, or do I spend more time on YouTube or TV or my phone or video games? Uh-oh, it looks like we might have some idols in our culture too. We're not worshiping big stone statues and going to temples to false gods, but there are still things that we put first in our lives instead of God. And you know what, guys? God deserves to be first because he's so amazing. And we need to put him above these other things that are in our lives. So in this first commandment, we learned that God says that we need to put him first. Our culture doesn't always do that. Our culture tells us to put a lot of other things first, even ourselves and what we want, or our own entertainment and the things we like to do for fun. Our culture says that, but God says we need to put him first. A lot of the things that we talked about really aren't bad things, but they only become a problem when we put them ahead of God. So we need to make sure that we're working on putting God first instead of those other things. And up next, we're going to do a little bit of an object lesson, and you're going to see what that looks like and learn more about how you can put God first in your life instead of any idols that you might have. So today we're on First Street, and we're learning that we put God first. That's the first of God's big 10 commandments. And so we're going to do a little object lesson that will help us understand the problem when we don't put God first. So I have a glass jar here. We're going to use this and pretend like this is your life, okay? So this jar represents your life. And I have some large rocks here as well. These will represent the big important things in our lives, like spending time with God at church, or serving other people because that's what God wants us to do, or maybe family. Boy, family is really important too. Not as important as God, but really, really important. So there's some things like that. Maybe reading our Bible is another one that's really important. That's what these big rocks stand for. And then I also have this bucket of sand that you can see here. And my sand represents all the small things that we sometimes make important, the things that we like to do, some of the things we talked about in our lesson that sometimes get in the way of God, like TV, sports, video games, getting on the internet and watching YouTube, playing games on our phone or our tablet, those kinds of things that we sometimes fill up a lot of our time with. So we're learning in our lesson that we want to put God first, and that means that God comes first in everything that we do. So instead of rolling out of bed and checking out the latest YouTube video or getting on our video games, maybe we should be rolling out of bed and praying, or listening to some worship songs, or maybe doing a devotional or reading our Bible. Those are all great ways to put God first and to give him the first part of our time. If we only have a little bit of free time, we have to decide what we want to do with it. Are we going to blow it on our video games, or are we going to spend it serving our brother or sister or a mom or a dad or helping out? Or are we going to spend it some of that time with God, maybe by worshiping Him or learning about Him in the Bible? So if we fill our lives with all the little things first, here goes my video games, my sports. Gotta have time for a second sport because I love sports. Gotta have time to watch some YouTube videos. Don't forget about my favorite TV show. And I love that one game on my mom's phone. Don't forget about that. Oh yes, and we gotta eat and sleep too, so we'll put some of those in there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but I still want God in my life, right? Okay, so let's see if I can fit God in. Oh, okay, I got him. I got him in. That's good. What about serving other people? Oh, it's not quite working. It's not gonna fit. And I don't even have any room for this one where I go to church and study God's word. It doesn't fit in my life because I filled my life up with video games and YouTube and snacks. What am I gonna do now? I didn't put God first. Let's try it again. All right, so let's try this again. When we put all the little things in first, we didn't end up having any room in our lives for God, did we? We played so many sports and so many video games, and we watched so much TV that we didn't end up having any time to go to church or read our Bible or serve others or do any of those things that we know God wants us to do. We didn't put God first. So let's see what happens in our life when we do put God first. So we're gonna put remember these big rocks represent God and the things that we do for Him and for our relationship with Him. So we're gonna put those in first. Now let's see if I can still fit in all those other fun things. Sports, games, watching TV, hanging out with my friends. Look at that, you guys. It's all still fitting. Wow. So you can see that when you put God first, you still have room for all those other fun things. And the truth is, those things aren't bad things. They're only bad if we let them take the place that God deserves in our lives. If we love games more than we love God, then that is where the problem is. There's a verse I want to share with you from Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. This is what it says. Seek first His kingdom, that's God's kingdom, and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So this verse teaches us that when we put God first, God allows everything else in our lives to fall into place. But we have to give Him first place above ourselves and what we want, and above all the fun things that we like to do in life. We have to put God first. So this week, if you've never put God first in your life, I want you to stop right now in this video, and I want you to do that. I'm going to pray as we close, and I want you to pray with me if you want to put God first in your life. God, we know that you deserve to be first in our lives. And so right now, we just want to stop and say, God, you are first. You are first in our lives. None of these other little things matter as much as you. God, we put you first. We give you first place. We give you our best time, our best energy. You are the God of our lives, and we want to serve you with everything that we do. We want to seek your kingdom first. Amen. All right, friends, be sure you stay tuned for our video up next called Puppy Priorities. It's a good one. See you next time.
It's a Peanut and Biscuit Show. What do dogs do when we're not home? Now we can see what they do on the Peanut and Biscuit Show.
Froggy goes there, Squeaky hot dog over here and smelly moose over here. Oh, perfect! All my favorite things in the whole world in one place. Oh, I can admire them and look at them and play with them and keep everyone away from them.
Wow! Cool bunch of toys you've got here, Peanut. Hey, do you want to go play?
Nibbles, get out of here. I can't play. I'm busy organizing my toys. This is my place and for all my favorite things, and you can't touch it.
Okay, well, you don't have to yell.
Oh, Chewy Stick, I love you so much.
What you up to, Biscuit? You want to hang out?
I am busy admiring my amazing Chewy. It's so cool. I see you're looking at it. You don't want it, do you? It's mine.
Whoa, I was just saying hi. I don't want your Chewy. Gerbils don't even eat dog treats. Hey, Shadow, how's it going? Hey, Shadow, how's it going?
Shh! My show is on.
But I just thought...
Shush! There is nothing more important than Bird TV.
Well, why don't
Nope.
you... But,
Go away.
come on!
Quiet! This is my time for TV. Get!
Hi, Nibbles.
Hi, Rowley.
What's wrong, buddy?
Everyone's just so focused on their own stuff. No one wants to hang out and play with me.
Yeah, I've been noticing that. Think we might need a house meeting.
What's up, Rowley? I was super busy.
Yeah, you made me leave my Chewy.
This better be important to interrupt my Bird TV time.
Oh, but I need my toys are my toys, and you can't just.
I've called this house meeting because I've noticed that some of us are getting too focused on things. Peanut with your squeakies, Biscuit with your chewies, and Shadow with your Bird TV.
But they need to be organized just right, so I know where they're at all times. Oh, they're just the most important things.
My chewies are even more important. They keep me from chewing on the couch.
I need my Bird TV.
Hey,
My toys are my toys.
Hey, it's okay to have things we enjoy, but when we start being too focused on those things, it's not good. In the Bible, God says to put Him first and not worship anything else. The amount of time and attention you've been giving to your stuff is worship. It's distracting you from God and the loved ones around us. You all just had a great friend, Nibbles, who wanted to play, but you were too focused on your stuff and weren't very nice.
Oh, you're right, Rowley. Sorry, Nibbles.
Aw, I forgive you. Hey, Shadow, this bird show looks pretty fun. What if we all watch it together?
Woohoo! Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm going to get some of those toys so we can all play with them.
Oh, and I'll get some of my chewies to share.
Birds that employ many strategies to obtain food or feed
Oh,
on a
look
variety
at that
of food
one.
items.
It's
are
red.
called generalists.
It's so fluffy.
Others that
He looks
concentrate time and
delicious.
effort on specific items.
Shadow!
A single
I
strategy
mean,
to obtain
so
food
cute.
considered. Bird's feeding strategy